want to take you guys on a bit of a fall edible plant walk, so we'll see what we can find. Check out this massive beech tree. One of the people who works at this park told me this was planted about 120 years ago. So it's pretty young. However, the trunk of it is extremely unique. It was cut off at the bottom of it about 80 years ago, and it branched out these really strange formations. In one particular part, a branch came out and then fused with another section of it. So that part comes out there and fuses with this massive branch and heads up. And beech nuts are good for digestion. They're pretty high in protein and fats. Some people have an issue with them if they're not cooked, but I've never really had a problem. However, from year to year, they produce a pretty spotty crop. Some years it'll be a very dry seed with nothing in it. Other years there'll be a ton. So not a dependable food source, but definitely worth noting, and a beautiful tree. Right next to that lovely beech are a bunch of solidago or goldenrod plants. And goldenrod has quercetin in it, which is an anti-inflammatory and an antihistamine. And it's often sold in expensive health food stores as a means of treating allergies, but the leaves, and particularly the flower buds, are very useful for treating allergic reactions and histamine reactions to pollens. And ironically, opposed to what most people say, goldenrod is not an allergen. You could be topically allergic to it, but it's pretty unlikely. What people are allergic to is ragweed, and this actually contains the cure to ragweed allergies, as well as ragweed itself containing a pretty potent antihistamine in the leaves of it, and just the pollen that causes the allergic response. But this can be tinctured, can be dried out and used as a tea. And it's a generally life-supporting, healthy plant to consume. Jewelweed is one of those plants that has multiple uses depending on the season. In the spring, the fleshy, almost mucilaginous stem, way down there you can kind of see a little bit of the stem coming up, is used on poison ivy, and it's been shown to eliminate poison ivy very effectively. So every year I make a salve of this just to have on hand in case somebody's allergic to it. I've never actually gotten poison ivy in all of my years of hiking barefoot through it, but if I ever did, I'd know to come to this. But in the fall and late summer, it produces these beautiful, almost squash-like flowers, or snapdragon-like flowers. And the flowers themselves are edible, and they have a squash sort of taste. And the seed pods, if I can find one on this plant, contain seeds that are edible as well. And when you go to grab them, they explode in your hand. So this is a seed pod down here. And when you grab it, it curls up and shoots the seeds out. And this is a means of reproduction for them. Because when an animal will pass through, it'll tap into it and it'll explode and pass along the seeds. But these seeds are really high in protein, they're high in calcium, and they taste very much like walnuts, or maybe an almond. And if you peel off this kind of green outer layer, they're this robin egg blue. So delicious plant, flowers can be consumed, has a mucilaginous stem with alternate leaves, and it's used to treat poison ivy. An excellent plant to know. I want to give you guys a sense of the area that I was in. You can find edible plants regardless of where you are, whether you're in a city or in a conservation area like this area. This home over here belonged to Susan Doyle, and she was a pretty well-off woman, I think a daughter of one of the factory owners in this area, and she grew organically on this land until 1980, 1990, and this was handed over to the trustees of conservation. It's an absolutely beautiful area and very well taken care of. Some really neat filbert and beech trees here. But food and medicine are everywhere. So don't think just because you're in the city that you don't have the opportunity to find wild foods or to create your own medicine. wanted to show you guys this because most people never get to see this plant in this form. This is what an asparagus plant looks like after it starts to go to seed. And in another couple weeks there'll be these beautiful red berries on it. It's almost like a Christmas tree. But I must have missed this in the spring when I was harvesting the asparagus sprouts down there. But pretty neat plant. Beautiful yellow flowers. And I also wanted to point out that we often think of looking for pristine areas to find edible plants and medicinal plants. But oftentimes the most densely populated areas for medicinal and edible plants are disturbed soil. And such as that pile of dirt over there, which we're going to head to. But a lot of the so-called weeds come in as a band-aid by remediating the soil that's been disrupted and creating a better mycorrhizal and organic matter situation for native plants to come back in. So we think of these plants as invasive or as a means of pushing. Just in this one small area we have Artemisia vulgaris or mugwort, Taraxacum officinale or dandelion. We have ground cherries. We have Rumix crispus, which is yellow dock or curly dock. Those are those brown seed heads over there. It's going to be ground up for flour. We have urtica, or stinging nettle. We have Phytolacca americana, which is poke, and poke root and poke shoots are used medicinally. And poke berries are used as an ink, or traditionally were. There's Solidago. There's the velvet plant, which is a weed in the Papaveraceae family. And in the back there, there's Leonoris cardiaca, or motherwort, which is amazing for anxiety. I encourage you guys to go out and explore, look up plants in books, seek out a person who's knowledgeable in your area. I would love to work with you if you're interested. My contact is in the description box. But mostly it's a personal journey when you start to learn about plants and their edibility and their medicinal qualities. So direct experience is primary. Hope you enjoy, happy fall, and I'll see you soon.